Good morning here from Palm Springs, California. Valerie Milano, the senior editor of the Hollywood Times and also Aspiring magazine. And I'm so happy and thrilled to have our guest here today. And I'm going to have her introduce herself. Thank you so much.
Yo, I'm Carol Connors. I'm not Carol O'Connor from Archie Bunker. I am Carol Connors. And yo, I live in Beverly Hills, California, thanks to yo, Sylvester Stallone. What can I say? Rocky. Ba 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 ba.
Oh boy, you are so fun. I cannot wait to meet you in person. Carol, you've been attending Palm Springs International Film Festival since its earliest days when it was founded by Sonny Bono. What does it mean to you emotionally and personally to now return with your own life story premiering here?
Well, Sonny and I, was the late Sonny Bono, he was in the record industry. So what was it, 20, 30 years ago? He asked me to bring down my celebrity girlfriends, some of my girlfriends. So I was at the first one. And then for years I went, with Errol Greenberg and then Harold Matzner. So I've been to about 18, but never have I been there with a film of mine. And all I can say is that I think what says it best is that when I told Diane Warren, I mean, we're really good friends. I call her the GOAT. She calls me the trailblazer. And when I told Diane that my film was going to be in the Palm Springs International Film Festival, I started crying. And it wasn't tears, it was tears of joy because if everything, Valerie, if everything you ever dreamed of, wanted, needed, thought of, hoped for was happening to you again, you don't have the right to be unhappy. I mean, I have moments, but I am just over the moon.
Love it, love it. Well, this film isn't just about music history, and I'm so thrilled that I've seen it already. Yay.
Well,
It's not about music, just about music history. It's about women that's forging their own path in a male-dominated industry. And you touched on this a little bit in the film, but let's expound on that. When you look back, did you realize at the time how groundbreaking your journey really was, or is that clarity something that only comes from hindsight?
I never realized it. I didn't even think about it. I mean, I had beautiful parents that even with all the craziness, because I started at 16 and a half when Phil Spector fell in love with my voice on To Know Him Is to Love Him. And I had been, when I was an incubator baby, and they wheeled in a baby grand and said, start now. I only know music and I love music. It's my life. But I never ever gave it a second thought. I didn't think about when I wrote, I'm the only girl who ever wrote a hot rod song that was a major hit. Hey little cobra, spring little cobra getting ready to strike. I'm the only girl in the history of rock and roll. But I never thought about that. I just did it. And I believe that, I mean, there are a couple things that I think I wish I would have gotten nominated for an Oscar for, some really big films, and maybe because I wasn't a guy, but I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I believe that if you believe in what you're doing, if you think it, drink it, need it, want it, feel it, go for it. And that's what I did. And I had parents that allowed me to fulfill my dream, to continue my dream.
We're not going to talk a lot about this, but I did want to ask you, there's a lot of discussion in the film about Phil Spector. Was that inclusion about reclaiming your narrative or about helping audiences understand the realities that women faced behind the music in that era?
Well, Phil, Phil, I think, was one of the geniuses of rock and roll music, but he was very Svengali-ish. I think I just made up a word. Everything that he created, he then tried to destroy. And in my mind, and I really believe this, and I'm not going to give away the ending of the documentary, but in my mind, I believe that he tried to keep me out of the record industry. And he had such power that That's what he wanted to do. But I believe that for me, I wasn't going to allow it, be it a girl, a guy, a hummingbird, or a kitty cat. I was going to forge my own path. And I just wouldn't let him do it. I wouldn't let him do it. And I know that's what he wanted to do. Look what he did with Ronnie Spector. I mean, I loved her. I mean, some of the greatest songs, but look what he did with her. If you read up on what she went through. And Bill was he was a very brilliant man. I once said to Dominic Dunn, I'm sure you know Dominic,
Yes,
of course you do.
absolutely.
And he wanted me to give a quote. And I said, as a man of music, Phil Spector was 100 plus, but as a human being, he was a minus zero.
Love it. Okay, so your film is called Elvis, Rocky, and Me, and it captures so many chapters of your life from teenage stardom to Oscar-nominated songwriting. What part of your story surprised you the most when you saw it come together on screen?
All of it. Actually, it was, Alex Rotaru, who had won many awards. They came to play, which was the Van Cliburn and the Kevin Spacey. He directed that. He really asked me some profound questions. I think one of the saddest parts for me of the whole thing was when I called the prison to try and get closure about Phil and me. And they told me that I could go all the way up there. He has to say, he would have had to have said yes. And when I got there, if Phil said, you know, I don't want to see her, he had the right to do that. That I didn't know that. That
Yeah.
really surprised me. But that's part of our law.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so you worked closely with the director Alex Rotaru and producer Dahlia Heyman over many years on this documentary. What was the most important to you in making sure that this film told the truth of who Carol Connors is, not just the legend?
Aren't you sweet? I said, and Chip Rosenbloom, who was the first person who believed in me when he heard the song that I wrote the night that Elvis died. I think it was very important to me that I have led a very checkered past. And in my mind, if I opened a closet, the skeletons would be coming running over each other to get out. So I said to Chip and Dahlia, the producers, and also Alex, I said, don't whitewash me. Don't just whitewash me. That's not the truth. And my mother had a line, and I've never forgotten it. My mom was very wise, and she said, Anetala, my real name, Anetala, if you tell the truth, you never have to remember what you've said. And I hope that I captured that they and myself, because it is my life story, captured the truth. I mean, it is what it is. I can't go back and say, oh, why did I do that? Or why didn't I do that? I did what I did. It is what it is.
Thank you. The film highlights your work behind the scenes, writing iconic songs like Gonna Fly Now and
Oh,
With
right.
You I'm Born Again. Do
Thank
you
you.
feel women songwriters are finally getting the recognition they deserve, or is there still work to be done?
Well, if you go by Diane Warren, she's taken over the planet. But I believe that women that, remember when I started, it was Marilyn Bergman, Carol Bayer Sager, and myself. End of story. That was it. I mean, for film and television. And I think now more and more wonderful, brilliant lady songwriters are coming in. I mean, at Disney, and I did Walt Disney's The Rescuers. I did the music and the lyrics. It was one of my Oscar nominations, co-writing, but was very involved in that. And today, I think, yes, I think they are coming into their own. And it's not a matter of, oh, she's a woman.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's a matter of she has talent. I
Yeah.
mean, when I did Hey Little Cobra, Brian Wilson, whom I adored, and may he rest in peace, he said to me, we always knew it was written by a, and he sort of spit the word out. And I said, well, Brian, how did you know that? And he said, well, you can't take your car out of gear and let it coast to the line. That's the last line in the song. And I said, Brian, if your car is that much in front, that's exactly what you could do. So even then, on a record that has become one of the most important hot rod songs, they still said it was written by a, not
Girl.
anymore. It's written by a talented person.
So tomorrow, January 3rd, is historic. It's when your movie shows, and the
Mm.
first time, and the first time in Palm Springs International Film Festival history that a song will be performed at a premiere. You're singing "You Loved My Night Away," written the night Elvis passed. What does it take emotionally to revisit that moment and share it live with an audience?
Um, I wrote that at 4 p.m. in the afternoon on the day he died till 4 in the morning. Every single note and every single word. And I have never changed one thing about the song. I finally did it. Can you believe this or not? Valerie, this is hard to believe, but I performed it at Graceland this year, 2025. And I, I had on these fabulous music shoes that are too big on me. So when they're like two sizes too big, but they were the only ones that were there. So when I was walking off stage, I was paying attention to not tripping over my own feet. And I happened to look back and I got a standing ovation, freaked me out. And women and men too were waiting hours to purchase my book, which is made, I couldn't believe it, called Elvis, Rocky, and Me, and it's on Amazon, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, I'm like in a state of shock. And it's to be able to perform it at a film festival and a festival that I've been associated with and that is so prestigious and it hasn't been done before. Hello, I'm over two moons, if you know what I mean.
Love it. I can't wait.
So
So, your
can't wait.
relationship with Elvis has been the subject of fascination for decades, but this song feels deeply personal. What do you hope that audiences understand about that chapter of your life after hearing it tomorrow night?
Um, when I went with Elvis, he was, it was very early, it was like 1964. And I want people to feel that it was a beautiful moment in time for both of us. I'm the first words Elvis ever said to me were, "So why'd you name the group Teddy Bear?" Translation: So why'd you name the group the Teddy Bears? And I didn't know what to say. It was Elvis Presley standing in front of me, who wanted to meet me because he fell in love with my voice on "To Know Him Is to Love Him," and said to the Memphis Mafia, "I want to meet that girl." Translation: I want to meet that girl. I love her voice. So it was, I looked at him and my first words were, "Just want to be your teddy bear." And that started my love affair. But this song says, I hope I was able to capture some very meaningful moments in my life. And I do believe this, and I know this, I'm not a fanatic, but I believe that when I was writing the song that day that he died, on August 16th, 1977, I believe that his spirit was in that living room with me when I sat at my piano, because I've had three major, one of them David Longoria, who's involved with we're up for a Grammy together with Kathy Garver for the book, the audiobook. But three major composers have said to me very quietly, "Carol, how did you come up with those chord changes?" And I said, "I don't know," because I had never written them before, ever. And I believe that Elvis guided me to the words and to the music of that song. I will believe that till the day I'm no longer here.
I believe that. Thank you for that. That's so special. So you've had relationships with many, with cultural icons, navigated
Many,
the.
not that many. Valerie.
Hey, and by the way, aside from all this, in the movie, I loved it that you said, Um, the people, when you get interviewed, only want to talk about that. They don't even want to talk about Carol Connors, but I'm talking about you today, by the way.
Thank you, Valerie.
Yeah, you've had relationships with cultural icons and you've navigated the pressures of fame at a young age, and you've sustained a career across decades. What do you think has been your greatest act of resilience?
Um, Never giving up. Continue your path. Remember what I said. I hope your listeners write it down. If you don't eat it, sleep it, think it, drink it, need it, dream it, forget it. You have to have laser beam clarity on what you want. And I've said many times about myself that my life is my music and my music is my life. The other song that is on the audiobook and also in the documentary is what I it's going to be a very strange word, but I think of it as my epitaph because it's called Only the Music, Only My Song. And it talks about what I have felt like, what my life is all about. The one about Elvis, You Love My Night Away, is what I feel that we felt. But
Mhm.
the two songs that are on the audiobook and of course in the documentary, other than other songs that I've been associated with. They're the two songs that are very dear to me.
That's beautiful, Carol. So, young artists, especially women, will see this film and hear your story. What advice would you give them about protecting their voice, their work, and their sense of self?
Um, Believe in yourself. Try to keep your publishing. That's really important. Just ask Taylor Swift or Diane Warren or me. Try to keep your publishing when you can, and just don't bastardize any of your words or music because somebody says, "Oh, you should do it that way," or no, you do it the way you feel you should do it. And always remember this one. I remember this. It's one of my CC Carrollisms. Success has many fathers. Failure is an orphan. Many people are going to take credit for what you do, but you know what you do. And when you get your ASCAP or your BMI statement, it will tell you what you did.
That's so interesting. You just mentioned the word father. Your father once told you, dream on, little girl. As
Yes.
you stand here in 2026 with this film, this performance, and this legacy, what dreams are you still holding on to?
Oh, well, obviously some of them are music, but I want to be active. See, I think when you reach a certain age, people want you to become irrelevant. I don't want to be irrelevant, but I believe you have to fight to stay relevant because of young, wonderful people that are coming up. And just do what your heart tells you to do. You will know if it says, I really want to be a nurse, then go for it as a nurse. If it says, I want to be a great reporter like you, Valerie, then go for being a great reporter. I think you've got to this is going to sound like a cliche. Follow your dream, follow your heart. And my father always said that. Dream on to my mother, because we were quite poor. And my father would say, dream on, little girl, dream on. He had been a jockey and had to give it up because I was born and my mother didn't want him in, it was such a dangerous profession. And I'm still dreaming on. And one day I will write a song with that title. I haven't. Isn't that amazing? But I love the title. And I'm going to continue to dream. I'm just not going to give up dreaming and believing in myself and doing what I need to do, what I think is right to do. And if it touches others, then God has blessed me.
Lovely, Carol.
Oh, thank you.
Carol Connors, it's been a pleasure to speak with you. So, how can our readers and our viewers find out more about you besides coming to see the film tomorrow night? Um, I don't know. I'm going to say that word social media or website or your book. Um, how can we learn more?
Well, I think the book, obviously, you can get it at Amazon. It was number 4, and Taylor Swift was 1, 2, 3. So I guess that makes me number 2, basically. And I guess I'm now a Swiftie. You know what
You're
kind
a Swiftie now.
and you can get it on Kindle. And of course, I have a website, www. Carol Connors, but you have to spell it correct. CarolConnors. And now there's a page because of the film and the audiobook called Elvis, Rocky, and Me. And that's on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. And I
Beautiful.
think I'm on Instagram. I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to navigate what I have to. Like, I'm doing a project right now from Malaysia. Do you know what it's like to have Zoom calls with somebody that's like 95,000 miles away and hours away? It's a little complicated, but I'm getting through this social media thing.
Yes, we're all working at it, and thank you so much. And we have a YouTube channel called the Hollywood Times Official, and our website's the hollywoodtimes.today and hollywoodtimes.net. And you are a joy, and cannot wait to meet you in person. And thank you so much for this interview. Have
Uh,
a great rest of your day in Beverly Hills, and you better make it out here tomorrow.
I will. And you're beautiful. And I can't wait to give you a teddy bear hug to
I
know,
love that.
no, remember?
I sweet. I love it. Thank you.
You
All
too.
right, Carol. Bye bye, sweetie.